the sunset's happening right now. But it's been kind of cloudy all day. So the colors are really pretty though. Let me show you. There's just this big wall of clouds. Kind of cool over there too. Hi, Gracie. I know the picture on my thumbnail may be misleading, but we do lots of beautiful sunsets too at the beach. However, we are in Fort Lauderdale and sunsets don't really happen here, except I am in my sunset area. So if you're gonna see a sunset, this is the best place to see it. There you go. How are you doing, Gracie? On this Thursday evening? You may notice I'm wearing my checkered flannel in honor of all you wintertime people. I know you're facing a terrible snow and ice storm, and I don't mean to make light of it, Barbara. Is Michigan in the path of this big storm? Hi, Sandy. Let me know. We have to really pray for people. I heard this is going to be a pretty bad storm and a lot of ice and snow, and our sunset's shaping up though. In fact, it looks better in the reflection of the window. Okay, sorry, I froze or something. All right, so to show you the window, look at that. It's prettier in the window than, oh, there's Sue, than it is like in real life. It's so weird. But yeah, it is such a great view. It's the best view that you can get in Fort Lauderdale for the sunset. That's what I think. Sandy's had company for 3 weeks. Warm in Utah, no storm there, huh? Georgia, yeah, Georgia's gonna get hit. My friend Gina in Alabama's gonna get hit. We're in Fort Lauderdale, John. I'm not your grandma. The internet keeps randomly stopping. I know, Nicole, it's been kind of, I just froze for no reason, so it could be me. Rock and roll from Sweden. Speaking of rock and roll, tomorrow we're gonna have so much fun. There's a little town north of Fort Lauderdale called Lauderdale by the Sea, and they have block parties like Fort Lauderdale does, only they only do it once a month, which is really sad for the people in Lauderdale by the Sea. But we will be going there tomorrow, and for their monthly, so they're all gonna go crazy because they'll be so happy to have their own block party. Hit, what did I say about Hit? Fort Lauderdale. Lauderdale. It's a little city in Florida, South Florida. What life advice would you give to young adults or your younger self? Don't drink alcohol and don't do drugs. That's the advice right there. Just imagine all the things that you can do if you don't drink alcohol or do drugs. Just saying. Thank you, John. I know the hair. It's all about the hair. Yeah, I'm not your mom, Miracle. But hi. What era were your youth years? You guys have a lot of interesting questions today. I am 60 years old, Devil, And my youth years were the 80s. So yes, I am cool. I am one of the first Gen Xers. hmm I lead my generation in fun. It's okay, Miracle. Don't worry. I know sometimes I tell you guys off, but take it for what it is. I've been beaten up on the internet a lot, so I get a little touchy. So how was the concert on Monday night? It was awesome, Miracle. You know, all the concerts with Anthony, always awesome. You never know what he's gonna play. A lot of fun. Tomorrow, like I said, is going to be the block party in Lauderdale by the Sea, so it'll be a different place than I usually do block parties. And then on Sunday, we'll be back in Fort Lauderdale for their block party. So lots of great musical shows coming up. And Saturday, of course, we will be celebrating my little sister's birthday, and I'll be taking her to hear the Smokin' Renegades, which was the band we heard last week, and you guys loved it. So we don't expect any winter storms here in Florida, but people in the, I guess, Midwest are expecting snow and ice and all sorts of nastiness. So, but we will always be celebrating summertime here in Fort Lauderdale. It was a little chilly yesterday, but it warmed right up today, and it's lovely outside actually. It's a little on the humid side, but it's probably in the mid 70s. Really nice and warm. Schools are closed in Wisconsin. So I also, Mike, stop. What? Nicole, what is it? Who has dementia, Mike? Are you saying I have dementia? That's not very nice. Be respectful, please. Nobody can live with me, Miracle. I don't have a regular home, so that would be no. Wow, there's some really rude people on right now that I have to get rid of. If you'll just give me a second to report. Because we report all the really gross, disgusting rudeness that comes my way, and then we block. That's what we have to do. Anyway, yes, the cold weather. Hey, UDX. Barbara's gonna watch. There's Northern Lights. Wow, that is very cool. I've never seen that before. That's right, Annie. You know, don't mess with Jill. You can help, actually, Nicole. You are definitely. Wait. Oh, see? Now that one actually needs to be completely removed. So, yeah, we report all disgusting comments because, like, why? What are you doing? Anyway, yeah, you can see these people. They get thrown into the intercoastal, which is right here, and there's some sharks waiting to eat all the trolls. Okay, so yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys tonight about, I am a journalist. I do like to talk about news. Annie says, please pray. All the special needs families are there. People take advantage up there in autism centers. Yeah, we're finding that out on a daily basis, aren't we, Annie? I know, Gretchen. I don't know why the nasties show up. But we just get rid of them, so it doesn't really matter. Minnesota. All right. I want to talk about something that I think is really important for us to all know. Now, I don't really have to tell patriots this, but I just wrote this to put it on Facebook because I get the comms from the White House every day as a journalist. I am recognized by the White House as a journalist, so I do get their comms every day. And this one came over the transom this afternoon, and I thought it was really interesting to let you know that the murder rate in the United States of America has plummeted. And not just a little bit, but the murder rate in America's largest cities has dropped to its lowest level in at least 125 years. That is not insignificant. And it's all thanks to President Trump's policies. And in addition to it being the lowest level in 125 years, this was the biggest 1-year decline ever recorded. Um, oh, yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah, I do. I want to learn to sing that. So, sunsets do bring memories. You are so right. Trump is smarter than the average bear, and he is literally making us safer. And I see the haters come on. These numbers came out of the White House. This was from a press release that I got today. So I know you'll never believe it, will you? But here's the facts. Things were really bad when President Biden opened up our borders and let a bunch of criminals into our country. It was a very bad thing that he did. And we are only learning just now how the past 4 years, especially the COVID years, were. I will play that song. But let's talk about this for a minute. I want to talk about the safety because, yeah, exactly, Annie. The world is full of crazy people. And President Biden, I don't even, I use that term loosely. I don't think he really was the president. I think he was a puppet, but he was, I can play music, Miracle, but I have to do karaoke. We'll try. Yeah. I won't get banned, but I will lose my monetization. So there's that. If I start out a show playing music, then I can make sure that I make no money on my show. So there's that. I'm not crazy actually to do music when I'm doing a news show. Beachy, I would like to sing that song because I love that song, but I will lose my monetization, and it does hurt me because this is my job. So if you want to donate, though, send me a super chat or some gifts, then I'm happy to sing. You know, I can make my money in different ways. It's just that, I can't just be doing shows for free all the time. So there's that. Anyway, yeah, thank you, Annie. I know. Well, you can always do karaoke with me. We all do all the singing and the dancing together forever. Okay, so let me read you a little bit more about the facts that murders are down, and so are rapes, robberies, aggravated assaults, and shooting deaths. In fact, the fewest since 2015. On-duty police deaths hit an 80-year low, and traffic fatalities and overdose deaths are down too. Which makes a lot of sense because we find out that all of these foreigners, they're not very good at driving. They can't speak English. They get driver's licenses somehow. And they get on the roads and they kill people. And I'll bet every one of you Americans watching this show right now, you all know somebody who was injured, if not killed, by an illegal immigrant in a car. Yes, you're right. He is protecting us. This liberal person needs to be reported for terrorism. And by the way, the FBI does watch my shows because I do get terroristic threats and death threats on my show, which is crazy. Because, why? What am I doing? But just speaking my mind. But apparently these days, speaking your mind is how you get, or how people start saying these horrible things to you. So No, I can't read. I'm completely illiterate, but I can actually hide you from my channel so that you say nothing else to me again. Yeah, these people are very rude, right, Father Time? The truth scares them so much. I am Miracle. This is my job. I'm not a news reader though. I'm a news writer. And what I'm reading to you now, and I'm not really reading the whole thing, I'm kind of paraphrasing it, is I got a press release, which is what a journalist does. As a news reporter, you get press releases and then you research the press release and then you write the story and report it. That's how it works. So thank you, Bronson. So it's not about being super rich and happy, but we're not super rich and happy, by the way, because we're being stolen. Our money is being stolen on a daily basis. Unfortunately, the fraudsters are super hard at work all the time. They're still getting money, even though we've caught them. You don't even have to speak your mind, Jill. They jump on you as soon as you show your beautiful face. So, yeah, I know, Gretchen. I think they might be a little bit jealous. It's hard to be a white supremacist when you're Jewish. But you know what? Here's the thing. There's, yeah, that Brian guy. You know, if they call you a racist or a white supremacist, then you know they're fraudsters. That's how you can tell. Because the only way that they can fight you is by claiming that you are racist against them. Hi, Danny. Give credit to our law enforcement for crime rates going down. Their job is impossible. Absolutely, Danny. And give credit to President Trump for letting them do their job. So there's that. That's very important that he is actually letting them do their job. I mean, some of the disgusting people. I'm reporting another one. If you say anything really disgusting, sexually inappropriate, or terroristic, you get reported on this channel and you get kicked off. So, yeah, exactly. Yes, the people calling me a racist immediately, I know. I know what you are because you've just told me. Yeah, that's how it works. Anyway, traffic fatalities are lower because, again, we don't have people running into us who don't follow our driving rules and don't know how to read English or whatever. So yeah, I know, Gretchen, they don't like themselves. Exactly. And then overdose deaths are also a direct result of President Trump's policies against the Venezuelan drug dealers and anybody coming across our border with drugs. Actually, our open borders was what caused all those drugs to get through to kill people. So hi, Moto. Hi, Philip. So that's another reason why people are not dying of drug overdoses like they were during the Biden era. For years, we were told that enforcing the law was cruel and backing police was problematic and that borders didn't matter. Meanwhile, cities fell apart. Trump's administration did the opposite, enforced the law, supported the enforcement, and removed violent criminal illegal aliens from our streets. And it turns out that law and order actually works. Who'd have thunk it? The numbers reveal the truth. America is now safer than it has been in generations. And that did not happen by accident. I would like to personally thank each and every one of you who voted for President Trump. Because by doing that, you made our country a safer place. And I think it's wonderful. We did all vote for this. Exactly, America first. We all voted for this, and now we can see the results. So that's really good news right there. Let's see what else we have going on in the news. Well, of course, we have the big storm that's about to hit half the country. And we just, get rid of all the trolls who think that they can say really nasty things to us. We don't care. Give me a sound check. Someone says there's no sound. Let me know if you can hear me. Sometimes it's just one person with no sound. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I take it seriously, I want you guys to be able to hear. So, did you hear about President Trump's Board of Peace? It just launched. And he signed the charter for his new Board of Peace at the World Economic Forum, where he is kicking butt and taking names. He also met with Ukraine Zelensky to discuss U.S.-Russia-Ukraine talks. And he backed off some Greenland threats for now. There is a big mix of diplomacy, drama, and global power plays going on in my former home of Switzerland. And it's, what does that mean? This chat has been colonized. What do you mean by that? Free speech, but only if they support Trump, right? Right, exactly. Exactly. You got me. You got me right there. Well, actually, the thing is, the people who do the news for a lot of money, who get paid to sit in their special studios and tell you guys all sorts of nasty things about President Trump. See, I'm the opposite of that. If that's what you want to hear, then you should go over to CBS or NBC or CNN, and then you can hear lots of nasty things about Trump. Actually, maybe you should go check out Gavin Newsom's Twitter feed or X feed or whatever. I'm sure it's just full of very nasty things about President Trump. So go ahead, find out the nasty stuff. I'm going to tell you the good stuff. Hey, Two-Stroke, good to see you. Because if you only want to hear bad things, then you just have to go elsewhere. Hi, Jimmy. Rittersboro, Mississippi. You are so welcome. Am I a troll, says Miracle. Miracle, that's up for you to decide. You actually have to add to the conversation or you become a troll. So you can see what the trolls look like. They say really stupid things like, here's one, you sound dumb. Do you know what a dumb person sounds like? God bless Northrop Grumman. Why? General Dynamics. Why are we God blessing them? Isn't that like war stuff? Hello, Stuart. I'm happy to see you. You're in Fort Myers going to Veronica Beach tomorrow. Where is Veronica Beach? Is that in Fort Myers, Stuart? I've never heard of it, but it sounds nice. We like to go to the beach on the Beach Report. Oh, American First Channels. Thank you, Gretchen. Yeah, I'm not worried about the trolls. Don't worry. I'm sorry, Miracle, you're too young to be a moderator. And you're from another country. So I pick my moderators very, very carefully. Yes, there's always freak shows going on, right, Renee? Renee knows. Is it Bonita Springs? It could be. Oh, Vero Beach. Oh, that's not near Fort Myers. No, it's not that anyone who disagrees with me is a troll. It's anybody who says stupid things to me is a troll. And you might be one of them. And you said it twice, so I'm going to guess you're a troll. And into the intercoastal you go. Exactly. Hey, Jason. Oh, you're 50. Well, I don't really know you that well, Jason, so that's another thing. You have to be a Beach Report regular. I have to know who you are before I'll make you a moderator. Not just anybody gets to be a moderator. Trump is doing the hard things now so we can have a much greater future for next generations. God bless America. Glad you're here, Tomahawk. You are right. Hello from Luzern, Switzerland. Wie geht's? Wie geht's, dear Martin? Yeah, how's it going in Switzerland there? You're not near Davos, but I'm sure I remember when I lived in Switzerland, and every year the WEF and the big Davos, it was a big deal. Hello, Long Island. Anyway, let's see what other news stories we have. It's starting to get pretty dark here. So this is not the beach behind me. The beach is actually in front of me, but I'm on the east coast of Florida, so the sunsets are not very good. Whoops, sorry. I'm going to use the sunset for some lighting. Best lighting you can get is from a sunset. It's also getting pretty dark though, but yeah, so in Fort Lauderdale, our sunsets are on the west coast, which means you never see a sunset on the ocean. But I'm lucky because my condo is on it also faces the west, so I can get a good sunset. Hi, Venice Beach. We love Venice Beach. I go there sometimes. I don't ban people just for no reason. I ban people who are rude. I ban people who make me feel uncomfortable, who say sexual things to me. I don't like that at all. This is not a dating site, and I don't appreciate being treated like a sex object. I am a 60-year-old widow, and I have feelings, and I don't appreciate being treated badly. So that's why I kick those people off, if you were wondering. I think karaoke probably not a good idea tonight because, like I said, I don't make any money when I do music on my shows, and nobody's sending me super chats or gifts. So I will only be making money on the ads that run on YouTube. So you know, if I put music on, then I ruin that. Of course, they can sing a cappella, which I call Acapulco, if you want, and that's always fun. I'm not the best singer in the world, but I'm not the worst. But I know most of the words. Anyway, we've had the best sunrises here in Fort Lauderdale. So runner knows it's true. Our sunrises are off the hook because they are ocean sunrises. So if you want to see a great sunset, you got to go to the west coast of Florida. If you want to see a great sunrise, we stay here at Fort Lauderdale. North Carolina is beautiful, Miracle. Oh, I thought you were in England. Why did I think you were in England? So, did you say I'm looking green? What does that mean? I don't have a filter on or anything, but it does look kind of green. I don't know. Check out the sunset. It is kind of firming up to be pretty. I absolutely would never campaign for Kamala. John, don't insult me with that. That really makes me angry. No, not a Kamala fan at all, actually. I actively fought against her. Happy New Year, Charlotte. I am in the beach house. Hi, Bo. Good to see you. Kicking people off. Oh, I don't think trans rights are human rights. I think trans rights are, there's no such thing, actually. I think it's mutilation. I don't think that men should pretend to be women and vice versa. Yes, please subscribe, runner. We got more rude people, huh? Yeah, sometimes I gotta tell you guys, there are scary people who come on my show and actually death threats and everything. It's hard. It's hard to be a conservative pundit these days because there are really, really nasty people in the world, and the Democrats, ooh, they're not just thieves, they're actually killers. It seems that way anyway. I get a lot of death threats from Democrats. That's why. I don't know why we're talking about New Year fireworks. I don't really like fireworks. I don't like the noise from fireworks. So, and you know what? It is true. The Lord protects me, and I'm going to tell you a little story about that. Martin, I lived in Switzerland for 10 years, and I am actually a Schweizerin. I did get the Swiss passport, become a Swiss citizen. Yeah. Ich rede Schweizerdeutsch. Can you tell what village I'm from? Probably can. Yeah, I sing a little bit. I'm not the best singer in the world, but I just love to make a joyful noise unto the world. Thank you, Bo, for protecting me from people who don't know how to behave in public. I appreciate that. Let's see. Okay, so I wanted to tell you a little something about being protected by the Lord. Okay, yes, rise, naughty. I'm on that one. When I first moved to Fort Lauderdale 10 years ago, a little more than 10 years ago, actually, I had a situation where I thought I was being mugged. I was walking down the street. I was actually talking to my ex-boyfriend at the time, and I was on wireless headphones, and I had a purse with me, but it had my books in it. I wrote a book about the way 9/11 changed our society. So I had 3 books. Now I lived in Basel. I had 3 books in my bag, and that was it. And I was walking down the street, and it was like 10 o'clock on a Monday night, and I had gone past the Elbow Room area, that's Las Olas and A1A, and it gets pretty loud there with all these bars, and like I said, I was on the phone, so I thought it would be better if I got away from the bars, and I walked across the street to where the Swimming Hall of Fame is located. And as I was walking down the street, I heard a flapping sound behind me. Like, it sounded kind of like this. You hear that? Kind of like that. And what it was 2 men. And they came up behind me, one on each side, grabbed my arms, and pulled me into the parking lot of the Swimming Hall of Fame. Now, at the time, I was thinking, they want my purse, I should just give it to them and they'll run away. And what elevator? There was no elevator. I'm on the street. And I think, no, they'll get nothing from me. I become like warrior princess, right? And I'm pretty mad. I'm like, they'll get nothing. And so as they're pulling me along, I don't realize what's happening, but I've got this ex-boyfriend in my ear that I'm talking to on the phone at the time. And I'm screaming, call 911, call 911, like at the top of my lungs, hoping that somebody on the street will hear me, hoping that he will call 911 or do something to help me, right? Because I don't realize it until they pull me into the parking lot of the Swimming Hall of Fame that I'm being abducted, and a car pulls up. And once I see this car, I know that it's game over, and that if they get me in this car, they will kill me. And I know this, and I don't know how I know this, because nothing like this has ever happened to me before. But I'm scared, but as they're pulling me towards the car, and I know that that can't happen, that if they get me in the car, it's the end of my life, I look at the one man's face. Now he's a black man, and he has like a big moon pie face. I'll never forget it. And as he's looking at me in the face, I think anyway, and he suddenly looks terrified. And I think he's terrified of me, and I'm really surprised, and I'm like, what is up with this guy? Like, how can he be more afraid of me than I am of him? But he seriously looked terrified. And when he got this terrified look on his face, in my brain, I hear, he's going to throw you out of the car now. So be careful. Try not to hit your head too hard, which I did hit my head, but not too hard. But anyway, and please, mods, take care of the people on the chat. You know what I mean. So and thank you, Bo, for that. And I do want to just interrupt this show to let you know that we do have teenage kids following this channel, and I have moderators on here who will get rid of you if you say inappropriate things. It's, please, come on. Nobody deserves that, okay? So, yeah, don't worry, Kelly. We've got the mods. Bo's on it. There's a couple other mods on here right now, so it's okay. Anyway, thank you, Martin. And mitten alle miteinander and goodbye from Luzern. Cheers. Ciao, ciao. So funny how they talk in Switzerland. And he just said, oh, adieu miteinander. He said, good night, everybody, and bye from Luzern. Luzern is so beautiful, by the way. So anyway, we interrupt this story. I am in the middle of this kidnapping, right? And I know I'm going to be thrown out of the car, and I am thrown out of the car. And I hit my head, but not that bad. But anyway, so this happened, like I said, like 10 years ago. Well, the other day, I kind of was instructed, that little small, still voice inside was like, think about that day, would you, for me? And I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking, think about how frightened the man was. And I'm thinking, yeah, he was so frightened of me. And I'm like, laughed at. Really? Was he really that frightened of you, Jill? I was like, what, back then, 120 pounds, 5'4", not the biggest person in the world, and I'm screaming call 911 the whole time. So why would he suddenly be afraid that I'm screaming call 911? It didn't make sense to me. Hi, Terry. It didn't make sense to me at the time either, but now I'm being told to really think about what happened that day and why this man suddenly looked so terrified that I even could tell that he was more terrified than I was. So I realized that there was something behind me. Exactly, Barbara. I want to cry when I think about it. Yes, there was an angel behind me, or something that scared the heck out of this man. Yeah, guardian angel. So I was told to remember this. And all the other times when I survived something completely ridiculous, like a car accident where, I'm on the highway, I'm on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and traffic is going at a really good clip, and suddenly I notice that there are two cars I'm coming towards, and I think they're slowed down, but they're stopped in the middle of the highway, and I'm going to hit them. Absolutely, I'm going to hit them. And I make some kind of maneuver, and no cars are going to let me over, but I make them let me over, and I skirt around this stopped accident in the middle of the highway. I don't even know how I did it. All I know is that when I got out of the car at my destination, I was going to a meeting, and the guy running the meeting took a look at me, and he's like, what happened? You look like you saw a ghost. I said, I did. I was sure I was going to have the most horrible accident ever in the world. And those are 2 times now, but there's more. There's so many more stories I could tell you. So we're talking about being protected by the Lord. And this time when I was almost kidnapped and I was being protected, I still was Jewish and had not even accepted Jesus. So, he's so good. I've been protected every day. Yes, Annie, God was watching over me and and it was amazing, and I feel blessed. So I was sent to, or somebody was sent to remind me about that and to let me know that, yeah, it is maybe another book, Gracie, that that was definitely a situation where God had his hands on me. I didn't know it until last week. I truly believed that the bad man was afraid of me. And it is kind of funny. So although I see all these trolls, they seem kind of scared of me too. So I don't know, but so yes, and then there's the hurricane, Annie. In fact, it's funny you should say that, because I was just talking to a friend about her dad has Alzheimer's, and he needs to be put in a nursing home. It's getting harder and harder for her sister to take care of him, and he's at home now, and it's just really not working out. And I said, you really need to call hospice. For those of you who have someone in your life who is at the end of their lives and they have dementia or they have cancer or whatever reason, don't forget that hospice is a really, really great service. And when I think about hospice, I know that it saved my life. In fact, that is a new book that I think I might have a title for, which would be Hospice Saved My Life, because hospice is not for saving lives. So it's kind of funny, but hospice really did save my life. When my husband was dying in hospice, when we first went to hospice, and by the way, for those of you who don't know anything about hospice either, it's not just for people who are really dying, it's also for people who are very ill and maybe know that they're going to be dying, and have a lot of issues already, like my husband did. So we contacted hospice maybe a year before he died, and we did something called palliative care, Palliative, palliative. Now, this is a very good service that hospice does. It doesn't mean you're dying. You can have palliative care even if you just, like, you're alone and you're older and you need help. Annie, I'm glad you're here. Well, Annie, first time she met me was when my husband went from palliative care to actually needing hospice at the end of his life. And so we were in a hospice hospital, which is more like a big, beautiful home with different rooms for patients. It's not like being in a hospital at all, actually. It is like being in a kind of somebody's big, beautiful house. And the people there were so kind. And my husband didn't want to go to the doctors anymore. He didn't want any more needles in him. He was just done taking care of cancer. So, yes, you came into my world, didn't you, Annie? And it was amazing how comfortable he was. He went from literally, we lived in the middle of Florida on a farm. I had a horse. We had sold our horse right before he died, my horse. I miss her. Anyway, we raised peacocks and some other birds. And my husband was a falconer and a animal wrangler. And he was pretty famous, actually, but for Cubans. Anyway, your aunt was a hospice nurse. God bless hospice nurses. Anyway, my Ray, he couldn't walk anymore. Like, I did the best I could, and it got to the point where he just couldn't walk anymore, and I couldn't carry him, couldn't get him to the shower, and that was when we realized that it was time for hospice. So we got him into the hospice, and this was about a week before they called for this huge Hurricane Ian. That was about 3.5 years ago, and it was heading first we thought heading up the coast, and then it stopped and decided to hit Fort Myers head on. The hospice place that I was in with my husband, and thankfully that was the other beautiful thing about hospice, was that I was able not just to stay with him, but even my dog was allowed to stay there. So the three of us hunkered down in the hospice house, and for that week of his last week of his life, it was actually pretty great. And his friends were able to visit, and he held court there, and my little dog would go to every room. We'd walk around and visit all the other patients and give them therapy. It was not a bad time. In a lot of ways, it was a very good time. And okay, Bo. Hi, Catherine. And so it was very it was healing for me, because, well, no, I guess in a way it wasn't. I'm messing up the memories. It's like when you have a baby, and at the time it hurts so badly that you can't even believe that you could go through pain like that. And then your baby's born, and you're like, oh, that was easy. Okay, well, this is how I'm feeling about the hospice situation, because I had not been sleeping since I was the only caregiver for my husband, and he would wake up in the middle of the night and I would have to take care of him. It was like I would get a few hours of sleep, and then he would wake me up, and it just really got to the point where I was horribly sleep deprived for months. And in the hospice, it was even worse, because there was literally no sleeping, no bed for me, and I had to sleep on this little couch with my dog. It was impossible to get comfortable. And he was very vocal the whole time he was in. Even when he was himself, he still was needing help the whole time in hospice. So I didn't get any sleep in there either. So it was actually a very, very rough time. But then the hurricane was coming, and the hospice, turned out, was a shelter. And I don't know what I would have done had that hurricane hit and we were still in that little farmhouse in Clewiston, because there's no way that I could have been in there with a dying man. And there was steep steps. It was a bad situation. There was a hole in the side of this house. It was an old farmhouse. It was just terrible. I can't believe I lived like that, but I would do anything for this man, clearly. So anyway, he passed away the day after the hurricane, and everything was calm, and I was safe. That's when he died. So he saved my life, and that's how hospice saved my life, just in a nutshell. Yes, I am a Messianic Jew, for those who are asking. I don't know why anybody cares so much if I'm Jewish or not, but I'm a Jew. I accepted Jesus. And if it's important to you, that's how it is. These days, of course, it's it's always been kind of hard to be Jewish. But I am all of those things. Anyway, it is 6:43 and our sunset is over. Let me show you guys the beautiful skyline here in Fort Lauderdale, because it is very beautiful. Who doesn't want to see that? Over there, that's Las Olas, our famous city district. Hey, Moon Dog. That's right. Everyone is a human being and a child of God. You got it. I appreciate that, Moon Dog. Thank you so much. And I'll remind the rest of you to please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'm hoping to hit 15,000 subscribers in the next few weeks, or sooner if I can. Oh, Mitchell, you're at the right place. Mitchell says that he has lost his beautiful wife of 42 years at the age of 61. Well, like I just said, I'm a widow myself, Mitchell, and I know how you're feeling right now, and it is awful, but you have an angel. She's in a better place. And now you have to live your life in a different way. People often ask me, am I going to date again? And I feel like I could never replace my husband. And we were only married for 11 months. We dated for like 4 or 5 years. We had only been married for 11 months when he passed away. So I think it's wonderful that you had 42 years with her. Hi, Gus. God bless you too. I can't eat or get out of bed. I'm heartbroken. I know, Mitchell. It's okay to feel that way. And there will come a time when you will decide to get out of bed and eat something. But right now, you are going to be heartbroken. There is no getting over it. I feel my heart breaks for you, Mitchell. I remember those early days when my husband died, and they were awful. And you don't want to get out of bed, and you don't want to do anything. You don't want to see other people. But it's important that you do try. Try to live your life. I know it's a new normal for you that you have to face, and you had been with her for so long that um, you probably can't imagine your life without her. I'm sure she would want you to go on, though, and see what your life can look like. And Bo's right. There are things that can help you with depression and help regulate your mood, and that could be that box rescue stuff is pretty good. I have it too. Um, there's also like CBD. I would never say to drink alcohol, but if you don't have a problem with it, every now and then it doesn't hurt. Just saying. I've had my moments, my wine and my chocolate cake. Sometimes you just need a lot of self-care. Hi, Jenny. Moondog has survived much grief. Yeah, unfortunately, we all have. And I think a lot of the people that are watching this show right now have survived unimaginable grief. So you're not alone. And we talk about grief on this channel quite often because I actually lost my little dog 1 year ago yesterday. And people say, oh, it's a dog. But to me, she was my baby. So I am in deep grief over that. It's been a year and I'm still not over it. I know, Mitchell, you're going to be okay. As long as you hold on to the fact that you had such a great love and how lucky you were. And how, most people don't even get that much like what you had with your wife. And you clearly loved her so much. I'm sure she loved you. And you're very lucky. And maybe now you'll go on and your marriage will look different because she's not physically here, but she's still your wife. I still wear my wedding ring because Ray is still my husband. And we have a different relationship. I still talk to him. He still visits me. It's different now. But he's still in my life, Mitchell. Death does not mean you have to part. Hi, Todd. We're glad you're here, and I'm glad you're still alive. And then Bo's got her chickens. We all have stuff going on in our lives. And Mitchell will have to find a way to fill his life with different things now. Rescue a dog or a cat. They'll keep you company, give you a reason to get out of bed in the morning. Speaking from experience, that is very good advice, Gretchen. That advice, unfortunately, doesn't work for me, but I do the same actually, as I am a dog and cat sitter. Sometimes I even babysit fish. So I still get my love from the animals. I miss my dog and I can't replace her, but I can give love to other animals. And I've even thought of going to the animal rescue, but I'm afraid that I'm might be too tenderhearted for that and come home with an animal when I really have no business doing that. So Mitchell says, I feel guilty that I should have tried to be a better husband, given her more hugs and attention. Well, see, that's another thing, Mitchell. You cannot turn back the clock and you cannot change a thing. But she knows your heart, and you can talk to her now and you can have a new relationship with her. Because even though she's no longer in her body next to you, she's somewhere. She's absolutely somewhere. Yes, you did miss it, Bo. I was talking about President Trump's White House put out a press release about the fact that the murder rate has gone down we are the safest now in the past 125 years. We have never had such a low murder rate. And also all the other crimes, arson, robbery, burglary, assault, all that, it's all down. Also, driving, people being murdered in vehicles by bad drivers, fentanyl deaths, overdose deaths, all down. Oh, Todd has a great idea, and I can sing that Acapulco, so let's do a little Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away up of the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh why can't I? Thanks, Todd. I love that song. All right, you guys. Well, if there's anything else you want to talk about or sing about, let me know. Yeah, I know I'm not a good singer, but they love it. I don't understand why they want me to sing for them, but they do. And those who come on and tell me I'm a bad singer, I don't care. I don't care. I love to sing. And I love to make a joyous noise unto the Lord. And those who want me to sing, I sing for them. Thank you, Mitchell. So you can tell me how bad I am. Doesn't really matter to me. It's not about you. It's about them. I appreciate it. Love you, Jenny girl. Thank you, Catherine. Yeah, there's always got to be one person to come and tell me how bad I am. To each his own, you know? I just feel like if you don't like someone singing, it's probably not nice to say, you really suck. You know, it's just rude. Especially when you can probably tell that the people on my show want me to sing because they asked me to do it. So there's that. Thank you, Mark. I'm glad you're here. Hi, Jose. Yeah, sometimes bad is bad, but you know what? If the people like it, then it can't be that bad. Then maybe it's just you who are a bad person. That's all. I don't know. Great singing. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate you. Oh, you guys are great. Thank you, Jose. Um, oh, that I have no talent. Okay. Well, that's your opinion. And I'm sure you say that to all the people. Yeah. Sing, sing, sing. Thank you, Richard. What's Dominican Republic? No, we're in Fort Lauderdale. Not the Dominican Republic. Aw, Two-Stroke, you're so kind. I try to make your day. Do you have a song that you want to hear? I'll sing it for you. Let's see, what do we want? Let me try to think of a song. How about Raindrops on Roses and Whiskers on Kittens? Bright copper kettles, warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver white winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling bad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. Thank you. Yeah, Paul thinks I'm drunk. Well, that'd be difficult to be drunk if I haven't had any alcohol, so probably not. Maybe it's all the meth I just did. Oh man, people are so rude. Why do you have to be so rude? Did you not like my song? Is that how you said I suck? I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to do this shit. I have to look at these comments from these people. Anyway, thank you, Amy. Why did Father Time get sent to the corner? What did Father Time do? He's usually cool. Yeah, I am drunk on life. Gretchen knows. Gretchen knows. Hey, hobo man. Hey, Dapper Dan. You both got your style, but brother, you're never fully dressed without a smile. Do 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 do. Your clothes may be Bokaramali. They stand out a mile, but brother, you're never fully dressed without a smile. Who cares what they're wearing on Main Street or Savile Row? It's what you wear from ear to ear and not from head to toe that matters. So senator, so janitor, so long for a while, remember you're never fully dressed. Though you may wear the best, you're never fully dressed without a smile. I love that song. What's the weather? It's beautiful here. It's probably in the mid 70s. It's a little bit humid. We've got a light breeze. It's absolutely gorgeous. Hi, Philip. We're having a beautiful evening here in Fort Lauderdale. Tomorrow we will have a fun musical show as we're going to a block party in Lauderdale by the Sea. Saturday we will be back listening to Smokin' Renegades, but in Boca Raton at Crazy Mike's. And then on Sunday, we'll be doing another block party here in Fort Lauderdale on 33rd Street in front of Fishtails. And then on Monday, of course, it's Anthony Corrado and live jazz. So those of you who love music, love the Beach Report. We also do news, but in the evenings we like to do music. So we're getting lots of snow. I know, Jose, everybody's worried about the big snow and ice storm in the Midwest, and I'm praying for you all. Of course, I've got friends and family dealing with it too, so a little bit concerned, but you know, they always make it sound way worse than it really is. It'll be okay. I hope everybody has fun shoveling their driveways. That was something I actually enjoyed doing when I lived up north and had to deal with snow, but I left a little more than 10 years ago because I was sure I was going to fall on ice and split open my head. So I'm here in sunny South Florida where it never snows, but oh, the weather outside is frightful, but here it's so delightful. And if you need somewhere to go, we don't have snow, we never have snow, we never have snow. All right, you guys, I am going to say ciao for now. We'll see you tomorrow on the Beach Report. Again, don't forget, we're going to have a whole weekend, lots of great music, because here in South Florida, it's our season. So the most fun happens all the way until April. Fun, fun all the time. Bye, guys. Ciao for now.